Hi, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about a wonderful, classic story by Charles Dickens called A Tale of Two Cities. You know, it's a story about some really big ideas, like love being stronger than hate, and how it's always possible to have a second chance in life. So, our story happens in two very different cities. First, there's London, which is a pretty peaceful and safe place at this time. But then you have Paris. And Paris is full of anger. A huge, violent change is coming, what we now know as the French Revolution.
So here's the journey we're going to take today. We'll start with how these two cities are connected in one story. Then we'll meet some very important people. We'll feel the anger of the revolution, see an amazing sacrifice, and in the end, we'll find out how love can create a brand new beginning.
All right, let's jump right in. Our story really starts with people who feel trapped by things that happened a long time ago. For them, the past is like a prison they just can't seem to escape. First up, let's meet Dr. Manette. He is a very kind doctor from France, but something truly terrible happened to him, and it has left him broken.
18 years. Can you believe it? For 18 long years, he was locked away in a famous prison called the Bastille, and for a crime he didn't even commit. But now, he's finally free. That old life is over, but the memory, well, the memory is still there.
And guess who rescues him? It's his daughter, Lucie. Now, she never even knew her father was alive, but her love is just so powerful. She takes him to London, a safe place where he can heal and try to start a new life, far away from all that darkness.
Okay, so what happens next in London? Well, Lucie's new life gets a little more complicated. She meets two young men, and here's the crazy thing. They look almost exactly the same, but on the inside, they're completely different.
First, there's a man named Charles Darnay. He comes from a very rich and powerful family in France, a family that was actually very cruel to people. But Charles is nothing like them. In fact, he was so ashamed that he left his family, gave up all his money, and went to England to live a simple, good life.
So in London, Lucie and Charles find each other, and they are so happy. They fall deeply in love, they get married, and they start a family. For Lucie and her father, it really feels like a perfect new start.
But there's another man. His name is Sydney Carton. He's a very smart lawyer, but he's also very sad. He feels like his life has no meaning. And remember what I said. He looks exactly like Charles. Sydney also loves Lucie, but quietly, from a distance.
So this really makes you think, right? They have the same face, but are they the same person? You've got Charles, who is happy and loved and doing good in the world. And then you have Sydney, who is sad and feels like his life is a waste.
Sydney's love for Lucie is so deep and so pure that he makes her a very serious promise. He tells her, "I will do anything for you or for anyone you love." Now, please remember this promise. It is the most important part of the whole story.
And just when everything seems peaceful, the world turns upside down. That quiet life in London is about to be shattered. The past that Charles Darnay tried to run away from, it's coming back for him because the anger in France has finally exploded.
You see, the past never really goes away. The revolution starts, and the poor people of France are fighting back against the rich families who treated them so badly for so long. Charles feels he has to go back to Paris to help a friend, but that's a very dangerous choice because of his family name. And the second he arrives in Paris, he's arrested. You might be asking why. It's not because of anything he did. It's because of the terrible things his father and uncle did. To the revolutionaries, just having his family name makes him the enemy.
And there is one person who wants revenge more than anyone. Her name is Madame Defarge. Her family was destroyed by Charles's family years ago. She spends her days knitting a list of her enemies, and she will not stop until every single one of them, including Charles, is gone.
So now we come to the darkest part of our story. It really looks like there's no way out, but it's here in a world that is so full of hate that we're going to see the incredible power of love and see a promise that was never, ever forgotten. Even though he's innocent, the court says Charles is guilty. He is sentenced to die the very next day. Lucie and her family are completely heartbroken. It feels like nothing can save him. All hope is just gone.
But then, Sidney Carton shows up in Paris. He remembers that promise he made to Lucie all those years ago. And he comes up with a very brave, very dangerous plan. He gets into the prison where Charles is being held, and he secretly trades places with him.
And this is why it was so important that they looked the same. Nobody notices the switch. The real Charles is carried out of the prison and taken to safety with Lucie and their family. And Sidney Carton, the man who thought his life was worthless, stays behind to die for the woman he loves.
So let's look at our final section and think about the powerful message of this story. What Sidney Carton did, it wasn't just an ending. It was a new beginning for everyone he cared about.
A huge idea in this book is resurrection. It just means being brought back to life. Think about it. Dr. Manette was brought back to life after being in prison, and now Sidney Carton gives his own life so that Charles and Lucie and their family can have a brand new life free from the past.
So what does this amazing story really teach us? Well, it shows us that selfless love and sacrifice, they are the strongest things in the world. They're even stronger than hate and war. And it reminds us that no matter how bad things get, a new beginning is always, always possible. And all of this leaves us with one last big question. Sidney Carton thought his life was a waste, that it had no purpose. But in the end, that one final act gave his life more meaning than he ever could have imagined. So it makes us think, doesn't it? What is the true meaning of a good life?